Hi, Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. How are you all? I'm audible. Can you hear me? Can you use the chat box? Yeah, I'm audible, guys. Yeah, I'm audible. I don't know whether I can hear me. Yeah, yes, thank you. So let's start, right? So I want to do the structure of the paper. So before you attend the exam or before you do the exam, right, you have to know the structure of the paper, which is history. So today's structure discussion is about history paper, which is in English medium, the English medium history. And yeah, so we have two papers. Yeah. So before I start, about myself. So I am Minna Sanas from Matale. I don't know whether anyone of you all know me personally, or have you all joined my classes before? Yeah, anyone who have joined my classes before? Yeah, okay, thank you. So, yeah, we'll discuss the paper structure. So, we have in history paper, which is not like other papers, right? So, history, I don't know what you guys get about history. So, typically, these people, mainly the elders. So, if you have elder siblings, they'll be referring you about history in a way that you hate history. So your perspective change because of the elders, right? Because of the elders, the perspective of you change towards the subject history. So history, in a sense, it's about the past people, right? It's about past things that happened in our country or in foreign countries, right? So that's why we have the Sri Lankan history separately and also the world history, right? So history, in a sense itself, is about someone else's story, right? It's his story, or it's we also can refer as high story, right? So that is the separation of history. So when we need to study, so we should know before studying history, we should know why we should study history. So all these contents are given in your syllabus book itself. So it's in the textbook itself, right? So the importance of studying history is to generate and to gain knowledge about our country, about the people in the past, about our ancestors, about what they did, what they ate, how they lived, right? All these small details of what happened in the past, right? So, sorry if you hear any noise from my side. I hope you can't hear anything. Okay, so we have two types of paper. So we have the part one in history and part two, right? Part one will always have, not only in history, but also in all the other subjects. Part one has only about MCQs, right? MCQs is in part one. Keep, please keep your mics muted. It will be, yeah, thank you. So we have two parts in history paper and also all the other papers commonly, right? So always the first part in any subject will be about MCQs, which is to choose one appropriate correct answers from the four given options, right? So normally in O level syllabus they give only five, but if it comes to A level there are four options in O level and five options will be given in ALs, right? So when you consider MCQ, so it's very tricky. It's tricky because they play with words. So they use the words not, right? So which should be read carefully. So part by part, a sentence should be read when you answer an MCQ question, right? So which is very important. So I have added some MCQs in here so we can discuss, and I'll let you know some tricks and tips to use while you do some MCQ questions. So in MCQs, you have 40 MCQs to be answered within 1 hour. 1 hour. So 40 into 2, because one MCQ consists of 2 marks. So 40 into 2, 80 marks will be gained when you correctly do the part 1 paper, right? So 80 marks for sure, because the total marks in history is 200, okay, which is 200. But then they'll be dividing it by 2. So your result will be out by dividing, and then it will be out of 100%. Okay, so that is about part 1. And then we have the part 2. Yeah. Yeah, and make sure you join by your name itself than using anything else, because it will be convenient for me if you do so. So please rename yourself. Thank you. Yeah. Um, so about part 2. So when we look into part 2 paper of history, so there we have 3 parts there. So we have part 1, part 2, and part 3. So in part 1, we have the map marking. So that is the first thing to be discussed, right? Map marking. And then we have about 1 word answer, that is short answer in other words, and then about picture description. So when we consider map marking, okay, when we consider map marking, there are 2 maps to be marked, right? So first one is a Sri Lankan map, because we are from Sri Lankans. We are Sri Lankans, right? We should be patriotic about that, right? Anyone of you all who doesn't like Sri Lanka, who wants to migrate to other countries? Yeah, so it will be interactive if you just reply me back quickly. Yes. Yeah, am I audible? Yes. Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, then. So when we consider Sri Lankan map, so it will be given with 12 places to be marked. So example, Jambukolapatnam, Nallur, right? Or else Chinkamali, there is Gokanatitha, right? And then Mahatitha, Magama, right? Then we have Iranamadu Vava, Iranamadu, Kala Vava, Kalani Vava, right? So we have various places. So we have both the new names and also the old names of Sri Lankan places. Example, if we say Chilla, right? Chilla, so that is what we call nowadays. But in the past, we call that place as Salvatota. Okay, it's a Tamil word, Tamil name used to mention. Even now they use Salvatore, but it's in Tamil. Okay, so words differ, but still it's the same place. So you should know about these mentioning of names from past and the present. And then about the world map. So when we consider world map, normally they give the European map. Okay, the Europe and also the Asian. So that is what they combine, and then they give. That's the final picture they give for the marking in the exams, in the O-level exams. So you don't need to know the places which is from America. Okay, so they only give the European ancient Asian part of the world. So you'll be given with 6 places to mark there. So totally you'll get 18 marks by just marking the places in the maps, the Sri Lankan and the history, sorry, world history, right? So that is that. And then you have these short word answers. So we also call that as one word answer questions. For example, who is the first king of Anuradhapura? Yeah, anyone who can answer that? Who is the first king of Anuradhapura kingdom? Yeah, so most of you all, I don't know whether which grade you are in, right? So maybe you're grade 10s or maybe you're grade 11s, right? But still, this question I have asked is from the first lesson from grade 10. So you should be knowing this, right? So who is the first king of Anuradhapura? This question comes in both lesson number 1 and lesson number 3 in grade 10. Yeah, who is the first king of Anuradhapura? Yeah, anyone who can give me an answer for that? Any guesses? Doesn't matter if it's wrong or not, wrong or correct. Just try answering. Yes. Who is the first king of Anuradhapura kingdom? Yes, maybe the host can answer. Yeah. Okay, shall I call a name then? Shama. You can use the chat box if you feel it hard to speak. Aisha, Shamama, Zaina. Yeah, anyone. So yeah, I have got some messages in the chat. Okay. King Vijayabahu won. So King Vijayabahu won. He is the one who ruled Polonnaruwa for the first time, right? He is the king of Polonnaruwa kingdom. It's not Anuradhapura. So that's wrong. Yeah, Pandukabaya. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, correct. Right? So it was Pandukabaya, King Pandukabaya, who was the first king of Anuradhapura, and also he was the first king of Sri Lanka. Before that, we had a prince. He wasn't a king. So king in a sense who ruled the whole country centralized, in a centralized form, by centralization. That means one king ruling the whole country. So that is the ultimate power of a king, right? Ruling many areas together. No. Vijayabahu is the one who ruled Polonnaruwa kingdom. It's not Vijayabahu. It should be Pandukabaya. Because I was asking the one who ruled Anuradhapura, not Polonnaruwa. Okay. So these type of questions is what they expect you to answer because this is a one-word answer, right? So you have to just write King Pandukabaya or King Vijaya, King Vijayabahu, one, right? So this is just one-word answer. So if you write all the 4 answers, so they'll be giving A, B, C, and D. So just by writing those letters, you have to write the answers in the answer script. Okay, they'll be giving you a set of papers. You have to fill in that. So you'll get 4 marks there. And then the picture description. So you will be given with 2 pictures to mark. So one will be from the grade 10 book and the other picture will be from the grade 11 book. So example, I'll get a picture from lesson number 1. Okay, I don't know whether you'll remember that. Okay, I'll describe a picture. You guess what's the picture and the name of the picture. Okay, so in lesson number 1, there's a picture of a stone, right? It's kind of a stone. It's like this, which will be like somewhat like this. This looks like a cube kind of thing, but the picture is somewhat similar. It's done in stone from lesson number 1. Any guessings? Yeah. Panakada copper plate. No, that will be like a sheet kind of thing. That's a long one. Yeah, it's Galpatha inscription. You got me correct. Yeah, Galpatha inscription, right? So who was the one who made Galpatha inscription? Who was the king related to Galpatha inscription? Yeah, exactly. Manisha, right? Yeah, it's exactly Kirtisri Nisankamalda, right? King Kirtisri Nisankamalda is the one who is related to Galpatha inscription. Where is it located? Where is Galpatha inscription located? Yeah, where is it situated in? Where is it now situated? Yeah, Palannaruva, right? It's in Palannaruva. And which dynasty does he belong to? Yeah, which dynasty? Because when we consider dynasties in Sri Lanka, we have many dynasties. Okay, mostly all these dynasties came from India. So we have Chola dynasty, right? We have Chola dynasty, Kalinga dynasty, right? And then we have Pallava dynasty, Pallava Pandya dynasty, right? Chola, Kalinga, Pallava Pandya, Arya dynasty, Arya Chakravarti family, if you all know that, they are the one who ruled Jaffna, right? So these are few dynasties that came from India. Other than that, we have Naka dynasty also, right? We have Naka dynasty, right? So we have so many dynasties in Sri Lanka that came from India. And you all know this. We have a dynasty named Peradeniya dynasty. This is the dynasty which ruled the Kandyan kingdom. The starting part of Kandyan kingdom was ruled by this Peradeniya dynasty. That is why now there's a place named Peradeniya, right, in Kandy. This name came after that kingdom. Because of that kingdom only, we got this Peradeniya, the place Peradeniya. Okay. So that is how these are short questions they ask relevant to the picture they give. So relevant to one picture, they'll ask 4 or maybe 3 questions, and then you'll be getting 4 marks for it. Yeah, it's so Kirti Nisankamalla is from the Kalinga dynasty. Yeah, correct. Okay, so this is how they ask in the picture description. So you'll be given with 2 pictures, one from the grade 10 syllabus and one from the grade 11 syllabus. So you have to fill the answers. So each picture will get 4 marks, so 8 marks out of picture description. Okay, so this is how you have to target and do the part 1 paper, which is compulsory. You can't select in this. You have to do all of these. There's no selection in part 1 history. Even this isn't selection. Even this. You can't select questions there. But here you can. In the part 2 and the part 3 of part 2 paper, you can select. Obviously, you can select. So that is about the MCQ and also the map marking, and then one word answer and picture descriptions. In future classes, inshallah, I'll discuss more about these things. And yeah, we'll discuss the next part. Yeah. So then we have the part 2, which is about the Sri Lankan history. So all the things related to Sri Lanka. That is so lesson number 1 in grade 10, that is about sources, right? Literary sources, archaeological sources, right? All this comes, right? Then we have the second lesson that is about settlements, prehistoric, proto-historic, and early historic periods, right? And then the third lesson, right? Even the fourth, fifth, sixth, all these things, plus the seventh, eighth, ninth, not the ninth, the 10th lesson. Okay, all these mainly all the grade 10 syllabus, all the grade 10 lessons, except the lesson number 9, comes under world history. Sorry, comes under Sri Lankan history. Because all is about the Sri Lankan kings and what they did, what they supposed to do, those things. Okay, so we have all these things in the Sri Lankan history. So out of 6 questions, okay, so you can select there. Out of 6 questions, you have to answer 4 set of questions. So under 4, so let's say if this is the question number 1, so they'll be having 4 questions under this. Saying 1, 2, 3, and 4, they'll be given 4 questions under each. And the marks criteria under this is like, so for the first question, you'll be getting 3 marks, and then 4 marks, 5 and 6. This is how the marks criteria goes for this essay part of the question. So here you have to just write the points or name or mention, but here you will be given to mention a sentence kind of thing, a phrase. And then for this one and the third and the fourth question, these two you have to write by putting a title and then using a paragraph. So here you should be writing 2 set of paragraphs with the title, and for this one you write 3 set of paragraphs with the title. So as per their question, you have to answer accordingly. So there, when you answer 4 questions, 4 set of questions, because one set of question is out of 18, because when you add all this, you'll get 18. Okay, so 18 into 4 is 72 marks over there, which is easy to get. Like you can directly score more than 55, 60. Even if you leave 1 or 2, still you can get more than 65. Okay, more than 65 can be got from this part 2, which is very easy to do. Nothing to get scared. But the thing is, they play with words. They play with words, so you have to read the question 1, 2, 3 times or 4 times maybe. Then only you can answer in the correct manner. And you can give the answer to the correct question. Right? That is about that. And then the part 3 paper in history. So when we come to part 3, where we have the world history, so there you have to select 1 question out of 2. So that is how you will get the Renaissance, Industrial Revolution, World War I and II, French Revolution, Russian Revolution, and American Revolution. All these 6 parts about world history will be given here. They'll not give everything, they'll select and give. And then out of the 2 questions, out of 2 set of questions, you have to select 1 set. So it's 18 marks, the same thing. Okay? It's 18. Here it's again 18 marks. 1 is set up question. So you have to do 1 there, so it's 18 marks. Even here you can get around 15. Obviously, in history they don't like consider your grammatical mistakes or spelling mistakes, but still they hope at least you write some points that can relate to the topic you give. Okay, so that is about that. So this is the overall structure of the paper. So you'll be given with 2 paper, which is part 1 with MCQs, 40 MCQs in that, and part 2, in that you have 3 parts to be answered. The first part is compulsory, right, which is marking maps. Sri Lankan and world, right? And then the one word answer, or you can say that as short word answers, and then the picture description. You'll be given with 2 pictures to mark. It is that, and then you have selections. So this is compulsory, and this can be selected. Okay, so it can be selected. So in part 2, which is the Sri Lankan history, you will be given 6 set of questions where you have to select 4 and do it correctly. Okay, and in the part 3, you'll be given 2 set of questions. You have to select 1 set and do that. So totally, you'll be getting 200 marks. Okay, so this is the addition of all these marks together. So 80 plus 18 plus 4 plus 8 plus 72 and 18, you have 200 marks. So that will be divided into 2. 200 divided by 2 is 100, obviously. I'm not a maths teacher, but still. Okay, so that is the structure. So I hope you got the structure of the paper, because whenever you plan to do an exam or whenever you do something, before that, you have to prepare yourself. So you should know about what it is in, like what's inside it. So let's say if you're making a tea or maybe a coffee, any coffee lovers? Yeah, any coffee lovers here? Because unless you interact with me, it will look boring for you. That's why I'm trying to get a conversation, because people say history is boring, but history is super interesting. Like if you see history as a gossip game, it's super interesting. I look at history as gossip because we gossip with our friends, aren't we? Like we should, right? Like in a sense, like we have fun by gossiping. Maybe about a teacher, right? Or maybe about another friend, right? Anyone it can be. So whenever we gossip, we have that kick within us which says like it's fun, right? So when you see history as a gossip game or a rumor that is spreading, you'll love history, right? Just see the things that the kings did. For example, King Dutugamnu, he built the famous stupa, which is still now available to be seen, right? Which is Ruvanvelisaya, right? So think like how powerful he is. Most of the like first urbanization kings, that is the kings from both Anuradhapura and Polannarva kingdoms, they are super powerful and they are physically fit. In other words, like as if girls say, they are super handsome. Just think like that, William. Or just think of a king by the person you admire. Maybe your father, maybe your brother, or maybe your future husband, right? Like that, like in that sense, right? So if you see someone or the character, like if if you're readers, if you're story readers, so you'll be addicted to reading because of the characters' qualities, right? Or the characters' feelings and the way they express themselves. So same like that, if you imagine the person in history, you will love history. So it's the perspective you think should be changed. And don't get manipulated by the people around you because they say history is boring. So just try loving. Like it doesn't harm you that you try something, right? It's all for your studies. Like maybe after your exams you can forget fully, completely you can forget history. Because there's no need of history after, like we should know, like for general questions in even in A level paper or in the O level paper. Okay, you don't have a general type of question in O levels, but in A level it's compulsory to do that. You have to do the JIT paper. So in that, you have to sit for this. So not the JIT one, this is GK, right? So you have to sit for that paper, then only you can get the university entrance. So for that, you should have some knowledge about history too. Not only about the Sri Lankan, even the world. Okay, so we'll move on. We'll discuss some MCQs I have prepared here. So for this one, I need your introduction. Yeah, so the first one, select the chronicle. Chronicle, in a sense, it's an inscription or maybe a book, an old book. Okay, it's an inscription, in other words. Select the chronicle, which is considered as the oldest and consists of errors of repetition. So out of all these answers I have given, which is the one which is the oldest text and which is the one which has most number of errors because of repetition? Yeah, anyone who can answer this? So when you get this answer itself, the answer will be correct. Which is the oldest chronicle in history, in Sri Lankan history? Yeah, anyone? Yeah, right. It's Deepavamsa. Yeah, you're correct. So Deepavamsa is the oldest text. So as it's the oldest one, it has errors. So like if you have noticed this, you might know this. So right. So if you know, sorry, yeah. So Deepavamsa. So we know. So who is the writer or who is the author of Mahavamsa?
Mahanamatero.
Yeah, Mahanamatero, and he lived in Diksandar Senavia Pirimena, right? Yeah, so if you all know that, yeah. So next knowledge then. So Mahavamsa was written by Mahanamatheru, right? So same like that, there should be a person who wrote Deepavamsa, isn't it? There should be a person, right? But is there a person mentioned in your textbook? Or even if you Google it, it will not give you an answer for this because there's no author for Deepavamsa. So that means, right? That means, so there's a proverb also, right? There's a proverb saying, too many cooks spoil, right? Too many, so, sorry, too many cooks. Okay, sorry. I guess we had a coverage issue maybe. Yeah, so I was saying, yeah, too many cooks spoil the soup, right? So same like that, Deepavamsa was written by many scholars together. So many scholars together joined and they wrote this Deepavamsa. So what happened was there were mistakes. So repetitively there were mistakes and the same thing was repeated, right? Or maybe there were grammatical mistakes, spelling mistakes, right? So many mistakes, but they are in Deepavamsa. Okay, so that is why we call that as it has the errors of repetition. So it's not only repetition, it also has grammatical mistakes. Like because it was not written by one scholar, it was written by many scholars together. Okay, so that is why this is the answer for the first question. So other than that, we have Mahavamsa, which was written by Mahanamathero, and he lived in Diksanda Senavia Pirivena. And when you consider about Mahavamsa, it doesn't have errors. Like it may be like have one or two, okay, but when you compare with Deepavamsa, it doesn't have mistakes. Okay, so even that was given as a question in the past papers. So you have to know even these small details. And then about these two, there is Dhatuvamsa and Tupavamsa. So these are two texts which was related to, like, if we want to study about the history, the religious history of Sri Lanka, we can read this. So you'll get to know about the historical side of Sri Lanka, the ancient times. Right? To know about the Buddhist order, those things you can refer this. So that is the question number 1. So question number 1, answer number 2. Just the power answer. Second question. The first part of Mahavamsa was written by. Yeah. The first part of Mahavamsa was written by. Because Mahavamsa was written for centuries. Okay. It was not by 1 or 2 years. It's not like novels, right? Because novels can be completed maybe within like some authors take around 16 years, some finish it within 2 years. So author to author differs. But Mahavamsa was not written like that. It took centuries. So obviously Mahanamathera would have died. Right. So only the first part, the starting, introduction, chapter 1 and 2, it's like, so all those things were written by Mahanamathera, but then it was continued by some other scholars. But it doesn't have errors, which is important. So the first part of Mahavamsa was written by Mahanamathera. Yeah, you're correct. So then we have Mahindathera. Anyone who know who is Mahindathera? I'm not asking about you. Yeah, I didn't hear you properly.
Is it Arahat Mahindathera who brought Buddhism to this country?
Yes, exactly. So I wantedly avoided putting Arahat Mahinda because I wanted to confuse you all. Okay, so it wasn't succeeded, right? So Arahat Mahinda, so he's the one, he's actually the son of King Ashoka from India, right? So King Ashoka from India had a great friendship with King Devadampaya Tissa, right? His original name was Tissa. So both of these people were pen friends, right? They were friends because they were writing letters to each other, right? They were pen friends. So both of these people were exchanging gifts. So they'll be sending elephants, jewels, and spices, right? Various other things. In one such activity, this is Ashoka, King Ashoka, sent the bo tree, which is the holistic tree in Sri Lanka, right? So it was sent by through his son, that is Arahat Mahindathera, to Sri Lanka with Buddhism. Okay, that is how Buddhism came to Sri Lanka. Okay, so that is the main topic you should know when you are living in Sri Lanka, right? Because you are living in Sri Lanka and you'll be living in Sri Lanka probably. So you have to know this. That is how Buddhism was brought to Sri Lanka, because Sri Lanka is a Buddhist country, right? And then we have Mihindathero. Anyone who know this? Who know him? Mihindathero? Yes. Anyone who knows Mihindathero?
No, miss.
Okay, so Mihindathero is actually a king. Okay, he was a king and also a Thero. It was King Mihindu the Fourth. Okay, King Mihindu the Fourth. He did various activities to develop Sri Lanka towards religion and also towards construction of tanks and such activities. So that is about the first two questions. And then Buddha, even he is a king and also Thero, right? He was a leader, a Parmaka. Okay, so question number 3. Select the correct pair which consists of the king and the inscription made by them. Yeah, so Galpatha inscription. Is it Rajasingha? King Rajasingha?
No.
No, obviously no, right? So this answer is wrong. right? Then Panakada couplet.
Yes.
Yes, right. Panakada couplet was written by Vijayabahu I. So this will be the correct answer, right? Then Vallipuram golden plate.
By King Vasapa.
Yeah, it's by Vasant. So as we have found the answer already, we'll discuss again. So Galpata inscription was written by whom? It was Nissankamala, right? King Nissankamala. Panakada couplet was obviously by Vijayabahu I. Vallipuram golden plate was by
King Vasapa.
King Vasaba. Exactly. King Vasaba. Sorabarava inscription was by. So we also have other names for Sorabarava. That is Badulla inscription, we say it. Any guesses now?
Then Aggabodhiya Sangam.
Badulla inscription, Sorabarava inscription, or else we also called it this as Hopitigama market law.
Aggabodhi. King Aggabodhi.
No. It was not Agabodhi. It was actually Udaya III. King Udaya III. Okay, so that is that. And then we'll move on. Question number 4. The chief who is in charge of the tank system. So this comes in lesson number 3. And even lesson number 4 has these things. Right? The chief who is in charge of tank system.
Parumaka.
Yes. Yes, obviously Palmaka, right? Other than that, what are the other duties he have to perform? Yeah. Other than in charge of tank system, what is the other duties he have to perform? As he was the yeah. So the chief who is in charge of tank system is obviously Parmaka, right? So other than that, what are the other duties he performed? So he was the one who was in charge of several villages. Okay, he's the one who was in charge of several villages, and also he's the one who is in charge of province or provincial ruler. We call him, right? Other than that, he have to make sure the kingdom or the place, the area he looks after is properly maintained, right? All those small duties. And then, so Gamika, who is a Gamika?
The chief of the villages.
Yeah, Gamika is the chief of the village, or in other words, we can say as he is the leader of a village, right? Chief or a leader of a village is Gamika. So the duties he performed, like he have to look after the problems, small minor problems that arise in the society. So if there's a conflict, you have to solve that, right? If there is any reconstruction of tanks, you have to report it to the Paramaka, right? All those small duties should be performed by Gamika, mainly the like minor conflict solving. And then about Gruhapati or Guhapati, we say, or Grahapati. Yeah,
Leader of the families.
yeah, he is a leader of the family, or in other words, you can say he's the breadwinner. So in our families, right? In Sri Lanka, it's mostly the men, the father, right, who is the Gruhapati, right? Like it's the breadwinner, the one who earns for the family. But there are countries and there are areas, even in Sri Lanka, where the women work, right? And they serve the family, right? So it differs. And then obviously king. So we have, he is the highest, he is the one who has the highest level of power, right? And he is also known as Raja. Raja, or else we call him Mahaparamaka, right? And he is the one who makes people happy in general, right? It's like it's compared with the present president. So the president has the highest power in the modern society, right? Same like that. In the past, in the ancient society, it was the king. So there are two types of kings, that is centralized kings and decentralized kings. Centralized kings means the king who rule the entire country under him. One king will be there to rule the whole country. That is centralized king. The king who has centralized power. And the decentralized king means there will be many kings who looks after different areas. So at a time there will be many kings because they have different kingdoms. But it's the same island, or like it's the same country, which is Sri Lanka. The question number 5. Question number 5. Say the prehistoric outdoor camps in the coastal areas. So which of these is the prehistoric outdoor camps in coastal areas? This is a tricky question. Yeah, any guesses? Outdoor camps in the coastal areas?
Mini Hagalkanda.
Yes, it's Minihalgal Kanda. So other than that, we have Pahiyangala, Aligala and Potana. Aligala and Potala are places which belongs to which type of area? Yeah. Is I'm audible? So make sure you refer this lesson number 2, right? Prehistoric, historic, and early historic lesson, because that is very important because it comes in both MCQs and also the part 2 paper, the essay type. Is it possible to get short notes? Yeah, I give my short notes only for the theory lesson, theory class people. So if you want, you can join my classes or join through WebTutor.
Miss, when is the grade 10 classes happening?
So you can message the admin and I'll let you know.
Okay.
He will let you know. Okay, so then question number 6. The cave of prehistoric era in which dead bodies curled and buried were found. So where was this curled and buried bodies were found? Yes, curled and buried dead bodies were, because in prehistoric era, the most of these bodies or dead rituals were always based on burying the dead bodies inside caves, or maybe they also level, like they divide the skull and level it up, right? So these are two main rituals they do towards dead bodies in prehistoric time, right? But in protohistoric time period, they did various things, right? Like example, they had 3 burial system, right? Burial ground system, which is clay tub burial, then urn burials, and what else? What was the other one? Clay tub,
Cyst
urn
burials.
burials, cyst burials, right? So these are three types of burial grounds they had during prehistoric time. But during prehistoric time, they didn't have organized system, but they had some system, like they did some rituals. So now let me know which is the answer for this question. Only if you guess, it will be interactive, like it will be useful.
Batadombalena.
Batadombalena. Yeah, it is Batadombalena, right? That is where they found dead bodies curled and buried, right? What is been found in Pahiyangala? Yes, what are the type of burial system or what is found in Pahiyangala?
The human skeleton painted with red ochre, right?
Yes, 9 red color skeletons were found in Pahiyangala. In Ravana they found a skull which is divided into two and that was leveled up, painted with red color, right? The skull was found in Ravana and Bardambalena is the answer here. Badulla, they found skeletons again. 30 skeletons or 12 skeletons were found in Badulla. That is question number 6. Then, so those are the questions I have taken as MCQs, and then have added some maps marking and the Sri Lankan map and also the world map here. I don't think we have enough time to discuss all this because it's already gonna be 6. So if you want to get this tute, can get it in the group. I'll upload right after I finish the class. So yeah, and let me know the feedback. Like how was the class and those stuff. And if you want to join my classes, you can contact the admin and he'll reply you back with the class, the time, and all those stuff. Yeah, how was it? Did you get some new knowledge? Did you get information from it? Yeah, thank you. Okay, then if that's so we'll end the session today and we'll meet on another day, inshallah. Okay, then. Thank you for joining. Hope you got enough knowledge through this session. Thank you.